And we are live. Mic check, just looking at the levels. I need to get a little bit more volume here, but how's everybody doing there? Thanks for dropping by. Lots of stuff to talk about this week, as usual. I want to start off with a little bit of a statement first. First of all, I do appreciate everybody dropping by to discuss Splinterlands and other Hive gaming topics on a weekly basis. I've been doing this show for over a year now, and it's slowly built up, and we've got a lot of people that show up, and I do appreciate you stopping by. We've kind of hit this tipping point where I have two different sides of kind of discussion point, and a lot of people feel that I'm either salty against Splinterlands or that I'm pro and I'm kind of forcing good leaning towards the good when I should be leaning towards the bad for good publicity. But I just want to say that my whole goal really has been with this channel to provide a balanced kind of outlook to the game. And it just depends upon which side of the road you're on. I'm just trying to provide news and my take on what's happening in the game and the various games I play, and try to make it interesting and try to give out information about, from a logical point of view. I'm not trying to be very pro, right up front. A lot of people say, oh, he's getting paid. I'm not getting paid from any of these games I'm playing. In fact, I end up spending a lot of money on these games I'm playing just to be able to provide coverage. And a lot of it, I wouldn't be playing if I wasn't having some type of fun with it. So I just wanted to start off with that and just say I'm not really making any money off this. The whole goal for this Saturday morning stand-up when I started it was to provide a discussion room for those of us playing Splinterlands, and it kind of branched out to other games on the Hive blockchain as they came out to, get together and discuss what's going on, what you've done in the game lately or in the last week, what's going on in the game, and what your take on those things going on in the game, So I just wanted to start off with that. I'm kind of at a point where I just got to be frank with you. I want to... I don't want to have a continual stream of just downers, really. We know the game is kind of in the doldrums, but they're working on it, right? And all we can do is take them at their word for it, And I've been putting out a few videos here. There are things that I find that are working good within the game. Some things are not. Obviously, the tokens are down. Whether you look at that as a buying opportunity on the pro side or a selling opportunity like you want to get out, that's all your take, And like I've always said, this is really a game. I emphasize this in a lot of different of my videos, especially the newer. I've got a lot of people that are subscribing now for my Atlas Earth coverage. I have the same opinion as I do at Splinterlands. This is not really an investment opportunity. It's a game where you could possibly buy, sell, trade, and make some money off of it, but you shouldn't really be, remortgaging your house to invest in a game like this. So with that said, I want to say right up front, I'm not pushing the game. I'm not advertising. I mean, to a certain point, I am advertising the game, but it's been my goal all along to provide kind of a logical, what I see, pros and cons of what's happening in all these games down the middle, so we can make our best judgments by gathering more information, So that's been the whole goal of this Saturday morning stand-up. So with that said, I've got some things I want to talk about this week. Obviously, within Splinterlands, we probably might want to talk about what the voucher talk, in other words, about the discussion going on about changing vouchers. We've got something big happening in Golem Overlord tomorrow. It's coming down towards the end of the season right now in dCrops. I've been playing Wrestling Organization online as well lately since the event, and the event is still ongoing. So we have several different things to talk about. So let's go ahead, and I want to get a drink here and we'll jump into chat. Okay, looks like KGM Jam is in the house. He's been with me for a long time. I appreciate your patronage. The People's Guild is here. Morning to that side of the world. Howdy. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this fine world, whether you catching me live or you're catching me as a, watching as a, after it's went live. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the views, likes, subscribes. It really helps me out. So appreciate it. Welcome to the People's Guild. In fact, the People's Guild has something, I have it up on the screen right here. I just happened up on the screen because I was looking at it prior to the show. I looked at it yesterday, and this is going to be one of our talking topics today when we talk about the vouchers, if everybody wants to talk about them. But welcome to the People's Guild. People's Guild, congrats on the year. Yeah, I've been doing the channel more than a year. It's just that this live stream specifically has been going for a year. So it's somewhere around 35 to 50 episodes somewhere. I don't know exactly, but it's been, I'll be real with you, it's been a challenge to keep, it's easier when I got a bunch of people talking or discussing in chat so we can keep the discussion going. It's a lot easier than it is to just come up with a whole hour every week of discussion topics just myself. So I appreciate it when everybody contributes to the discussion. Gathering the Magics here. Welcome, another person that has frequently contributed to my channel. I do appreciate your time. It says, good morning all. The great voucher debate continues. The question is, are you loading up now while they're just over a penny? I am. That's interesting. I had thought about that this week. I have bought some vouchers in the past, not recently. I did buy some vouchers when they started, the discussion topic around land, when they started talking about land 2.0 and how you would need vouchers for certain things in land. And I'm not grasping exactly what they need, what we would need them for, but they had mentioned them in the past, so I bought up some. But that's a good point. That's a good thing to bring up. Currently, let's look at, while we're here, land's still around 10 bucks. What was I looking for? I was looking for, okay, here we are, Splinter cards. I looked at the value this morning. Let's see, vouchers, 0.01, just a little bit over a cent. So it's interesting. It just depends upon your take and which way you think this is headed. But to answer your questions right off, I have not bought any vouchers. I did buy some SPS this week. And just in case you didn't see, I didn't really put out an announcement. I did it on X. If you follow me on X, then you will have seen this the other day. But my thing this week is, look at that. Max level Dr. Blight. Yeah, and I know some people call me crazy for putting money into the game, but hey, I've been wanting a Dr. Blight since Dr. Blight came out, and it was just way out of my price range, right? Well, over the last several months, I've been keeping my eye on Dr. Blight, right? And if I was going to buy it, I wanted to go ahead and just buy a max level, just be done with it, right? Because I've been beat by this guy too many times. So anyway, I've been watching him. Lately, he's been fluctuating from, $115 to $130 there for a max level. And I saw one day it came down to $100. And I was like, oh, I missed it. I'm like, if it ever comes back to $100, then I'm buying it. And, we lost track of time. It went a week or two and I didn't check on it. And then 2 days ago, a day or two ago, I checked and I just happened to see somebody post a max level one for 60. It was either 60 or 65. It was $60. And it was like several dollars per BCX less than the next lowest price. So I'm like, that's mine. And I bought it. For good or for bad. I know it will help the strength of my deck out. So that was my purchase this week. So let's go ahead and catch up with what people are saying. Gauge 1, love your work, Bronze Dragon. Thank you. I appreciate it. People's Guild says, GTM, the perpetual voucher bull. Yeah, it's something to think about. Obviously, all these coins are in a position right now, and not investment advice, right? All these coins are in a position right now to have a severe upside if, the big if there is if the team can improve the game to the point where, as Matt, if you didn't catch the recent episode from the People's Guild where they interviewed Matt, go catch it. I'm about halfway through it. Haven't been made my way through the whole session yet, as it's a pretty long show. But the whole answer is get more people into the game, right? And I agree. But there's a lot of talking points around that. But should they get that magic X factor and cross that bridge and make the game to a point where it's easy to get into, fun to play, attracting Web 2 people into the Web 3 space, and we start getting onboarding, as Matt pointed out, people that are not only looking at the game, but actually buying spell books, and if they do away with spell books, there's some talk about that, in some way change the game, actually get into and start playing the game, a lot of these problems will evaporate, right? And I'm not pro, or obviously I'm pro because I put money into the game. If you put a bunch of money into the game, obviously you want to see the game do well. I don't know why you would want to see it fail. I can see if you sold all your assets, I can't see why if I made the decision to sell all my assets and get out of the game, I just wouldn't be hanging around the threads and stuff like that and just kind of like, depressing everybody. I would just go on about my business. But either way, let's go ahead and check out more chat. Either way, I think my point there was there's some good upside if the game turns around, right? Because SPS is way below peg. Or DEC is way below peg is what I wanted to say. SPS is at an all-time low. Vouchers are going down, or have been in a steep decline. And this is like one of those things that, depending upon what they do with vouchers, like Gathering said, if you scoop some up now, depending upon if you like what you hear on what we decide to do with them, you might be able to turn around. I don't want to say a profit, but you might be able to turn around and get a bunch of stuff in game depending upon what they end up doing. And obviously this is all depending upon your outlook of the game, right? So whether you agree with where the team's headed, whether you agree with the changes they've made recently, and your outlook on the game. So there's a lot of variables in question. So what can I say? It all comes down to that, though. Let's see here. Gathering says it has such potential, just needs to be an access token, not a discount token. I got to stick with what I said in the first place. I thought there never should have been vouchers. My brother has a node license, and I wanted to go back and look at exactly what the selling page had told node license holders at that point in time, a year or two ago, what they were going to get out of the node, what was promised to them. Because one of the things I saw mentioned, I was kind of looking at Discord this morning, and it was an interesting topic, was, well, I agree that I think vouchers should go away in some form or fashion, right? I'm not sure exactly who I'm leaning towards as far as the proposals right now, and we can discuss that later on. But a good point here that somebody made in chat, and I'm sorry if you're watching, I forgot your name, but a good point is, what did Splinterlands promise those people who spent a lot of money on nodes? What did they promise around vouchers and everything? And I don't have the verbiage on that. I would like to go back and read that. So if you have the verbiage on that and have an original copy of it, let me know. Send me a link in Discord or something or other, because I like to be accurate about what I'm talking about. But I guess the main point here is, when we make a change to these vouchers, is it in some way going to step on the toes of those people who believed in the game and bought the nodes? Because there's some people, like my brother just bought one, but it's a significant expense for us, for he or I, right? I didn't buy a node license, but there's some people that went whole hog and bought several licenses. So I would like to look at it from not only our point of view, our being the standard player, right? I would like to look at it from the point of view of those people who sunk a lot of money into node licenses and are recouping vouchers as one of the primary ways of means of money coming in from those node licenses currently, right? What it's going to do to them. And obviously the team has to, we all have to look at it from that point of view as well. And the whole interaction of how we know that Matt's got a team specifically dedicated to bringing nodes up online currently within, I don't know, short period within the year. I don't know what the time frame is, but he's got some people that are good at this, that are working on it currently to specifically bring the nodes online. What's that going to do? The interplay of how we change the vouchers going out to node holders. What's going to happen to node holders once they actually go live? Will things change as far as what they bring in? These are all kind of question marks to me right here, but it's good discussion. But I like to base discussion upon solid facts, so. Okay, let's keep going with chat. Paul Taylor's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by, Paul. Alex T's here. We lit. I told y'all SPS was going to 5.05. Well, I don't know where it's going to go. It's kind of stayed at about 0.006 for the last few days, but who knows? I mean, it's just represented a downward slide. But once again, there's a lot of different factors here. And, you know as well as I do that gaming companies, all it takes is like one release or one really good idea that goes live that really kicks it off and kicks it into gear, okay? And I don't know I'm not sitting here saying I have the best ideas. I'm not saying Matt has the best ideas. But when I listened to his discussion with the People's Guild yesterday, the day before, whenever I listened to it, it's probably yesterday, I felt good about what he was talking about. I can't predict the future of the game, right? But I can tell you I was listening to a guy who's doing his level best from my take to keep the game going and improve the game. That was my takeaway, right? And I've been around 53, almost 54 years, and I can usually tell when somebody's feeding me a line. So either way, let's keep going. Gathering says, I like the idea of vouchers for the Glint store only. Okay, that was, if you didn't catch it, if you go over, nope, wrong one. I've got a lot of KSIQDS tabs open, sorry. Okay, here we go. This is the People Guild. If you go over on KSIQDS, after I'm done here, I will leave these links in the show notes if you want to check them out. But these links are in Splinterlands right now. If you go to the SPS page and then proposals, the draft proposals, they're all right here. So this is the one from the People's Guild that they put out. So have a read through it, but basically that's their idea. As far as using, instead of doing any conversion, and People's Guild, call me out and tell me if I'm wrong here, but provide a utility within the Glint shop, or like Matt said in the show, maybe make a separate shop where you could just buy specific items with vouchers. Okay, so this avoids the whole conversion process, some kind of conversion process, some kind of getting rid of them. It's just you still earn vouchers. It's just you can only spend them for specific things, and the vouchers would become soul-bound, I guess. Tell me if I'm wrong about that. But the whole idea being that if you do certain things within the game, like stake SPS or like have a node license, and you're getting vouchers, you can spend them on specific exclusive items like cards or titles or whatever they make up specifically for this. And that would be the use case for vouchers. It wouldn't be a whole lot of extra work for the team, as far as I know. And that seems to be the whole kind of baseline of that idea. Once again, People's Guild, let me know in the show or in the comments if I'm wrong about that in some way. Okay, Bananas is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, he says 5 cents would be great. I think you mean 0.005. Yeah, I took that. Alex T says in the bull run, it will max out around 30 cents. Watch. And Gathering agrees, 25 to 30 cents. People's Guild says, man, 30 cents, things would get wild. 15 cents and things would get nuts. I agree. I agree with that. Rooney 207's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate your time, as always. And yeah, I mean, if things got back above, let's look up, you know, I don't want to call it nuts, but what we need to see is we just need to see some use case, some specific improvements in the game. And after the discussion about how they're working on the whole, basically making the game better, making it more fun, making it easier to get into, and then start advertising it. Okay. And then obviously the whole goal is to get more people in, specifically people that are not Web3 heads, you know, so to speak. And that would turn everything around. And I think that's the whole goal. And the whole discussion point of there being so many, there's too much SPS out there and coming out for the amount of players we have. But if that did turn around, there might not be enough SPS. So that whole discussion we've had in prior weeks about reducing the amount of SPS, you know, going back to that. So, you know, I think we can all agree on that. Alex T says, only if you let Matt do his thing and stop flooding his DM with ideas. Well, you know, he had a good point. And his point was that most of these ideas are good ideas, right? It's just the fact that they've only got a small team, and you can only make headway if you make a plan and concentrate on, you know, getting that plan complete. Then at the end of that plan, you can decide whether it had a good effect or a bad effect, you know. But if you get sidetracked with a whole bunch of different miscellaneous ideas, he stopped and he specifically said, a lot of these ideas are good. These are good ideas. It's just we don't have time right now to go off on these tangents, because I don't know. And once again, I'm not a developer, but I work closely with a lot of developers, and I've worked on different projects with developers. The thing is once you put, okay, so you plan out a change, you come up with a plan, you do the coding, you do everything to make that change, you do different levels of testing along the way, and then you find that changed something else, okay? And then you have to go work on that something else. And then you're like, oh, wow, when this changes, then something else changes. And so it's not just always clear cut that you're making one change, because every time you make that change, you have to test that and then find out if X affects Y, which affects Z, and it has a trickle effect, you know? So that all comes down to just doing the QE or QA process after you make changes. And his point was, a lot of times making one change leads to 2 or 3 other jobs they have to do, which quickly multiplies out, and all of a sudden you got your team working on all these other things and not on the direct vision of where you're trying to go. So while they're improving various little things here and there through the game, they're not making good headway with the way the team led by Matt wants to go. So I understand 100% his point there. Okay. Trying to catch up with chat. We do have some other news items here to go over as well. The The People's Guild says, Rooney207, long time no see, man. Alex T says, Splinterlands is in a good place if they start fixing the user analytics. The People's Guild says, saw the dogging on your idea. Get to the line behind Matt and Alex T. I don't know exactly what that means. Gathering says, only 9 DEC will get you an SPS. Wow. I hadn't checked it out, but I do know they're low, and I do know I've been buying a little bit of DEC and a little bit of SPS at a time, kind of following the, what's that called, where you just buy, why am I not remembering this? Dollar cost averaging. So buying a little bit at a time so it just all averages out. Because I will need, if you hold land, you're going to need DEC, and you may need vouchers depending upon what they do with them in the future when 2.0 hits. Okay, I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, 2.0 is never going to hit. I would just like to be prepared, and it's easier to stock up on DEC now when it's at 67 cents than when it goes back to PEG, if you believe it's going to go back to PEG, which I don't necessarily know if it's going to hold the PEG, but it held between 90 cents and $1 for a long time there, right? So there's no question in my mind that with a couple good changes in the game that they can bring this downward turn into an upward hill, you know. So let's see here. Alex T says, man, I'm behind. Every time I click to scroll, it just freaks out on me. I'm way behind. Sorry about that. Wow, I'm way behind. Sorry. I got off on a... Alex T says, you know, it's all love, Jangles. I got to rattle the cage for the algorithm. AJ's in the house. Hello in the UK. It's a lot different to us. Why do you get $2 every video, but UK only gets 1 on Atlas Earth? Oh, that's a good question. It's all about advertising. We're going to take a sidetrack here to Atlas Earth for a minute, since we got a new viewer talking about Atlas Earth. One of the big things is I'm at 150 plots now, or parcels, and this week I made it to filled out my 2nd level of passport badges, and I'm working on my 3rd level now. So that's my progress this week. A quick, but AJ, there's currently 2, and possibly I think there's going to be a 3 levels of what you can earn in this game. And it all comes down to advertising, and it all comes down to protection of PII, your personal information, whereas in the UK and in Europe in general, in a large part, I don't want to kind of get off on a too far of a tangent talking about personal information protection. But here in the States, it comes down to our personal information can be abused a lot more than other people in the world, and meaning that you in the UK are protected a lot more than we are with what your personal information can be used, and also the advertising rate. So I'm not 100%, I'm not a member of the team, but that's what it comes down to. So if you're not familiar with this game, this is a game I've been playing. You can see here that every 20 minutes I make 2 Atlas bucks. For the most part, the rest of people in the world only make 1 every 20 minutes when they collect, and it all comes down to those 2 things we discussed. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm at a little bit under $34, and I'm right at, in 2 days, I'll be at 3 months. So you can see the parcels of land. I'm doing pretty good. So let's go ahead and shift back. If I can get back. Okay, let's catch up. People's Guild says, yeah, agreed. I'm bullish. Just bought my first alpha legendaries, Phoenix and LOD. I forget what that guy stands for. Gathering says, "Grats on the Dr. Blight." Yep, I've been looking for him for a while. Banana says, "Ugh, I paid more than $94 for a single Dr. Blight." Yeah, I can say similar things about buying cards in the past, but we won't dwell on that. But I've always wanted one, and I've lost a lot to Dr. Blight, so that's why I went in and bought one. Finally, I just couldn't pass it up. Supreme Victory Studios says, "Dr. Blight's an awesome card. International Travel Channel. Guten Tag." Thanks for joining us. Know it's late over there. People's Guild says, "All love, Toro. It's all fun." Rooney 207 says, "The People's Guild, yes. Been busy on the Ronin network." International Travel Channel says, "I bought a level 3 Blight recently. Awesome card. I thought about buying a level 3, but then I'm like, if I'm going to buy it, I'm just going to buy the level 4 and be done with it." People's Guild says, "Man, Blight is still such a boss. 99 mana cap, and he still finds a way to get in my lineup." Yeah, I mean, he's strong. Look at those powers. Let's go ahead and click on here. We're talking Affliction. We're talking Camouflage, Poison, Scavenger, and Weaken, all at max level. Let's see here. Alex T says, "I started playing Axie. LOL. Coinbase got me into it. I have not played Axie Infinity. I've heard a lot about it. I've watched a lot of videos about it, but I've never played it." The People's Guild says, "Where's the content at lately?" At Rooney 207. Gathering says, "Great chat with Matt." Yeah, I agree. That was great. I haven't made my way through the whole video yet, but I'll be working on that later. I've got about halfway through it. International Travel Channel says, "Let's go. Destroy all vouchers." I'm in that same camp. I want to be very thoughtful about how that's done. So I think my main point here is I think that people who went in and bought nodes and invested in the game, let's face it, that's what that was. That was people saying, and I'll say the way my brother said it. He says, "I bought a node because I was basically investing in the future of the game, and I felt good about putting some money into the future of the game." Okay, so I don't want to see those people who invested in the game heavily get their toes stepped on. So let's see here. The People's Guild been super busy lately, playing 20 plus games. Yes, I know exactly how you feel there. Bananas says, "I agree with need new players, but I can't think of a good sales pitch to get them in." Well, I think like what Matt says is, first of all, they have to get to the end of the road of where they are with this improvement process within the game. Okay, and he talked about a lot of things. I'll leave a link. Just check on the People's Guild channel. I think it's their most recent video, or podcast rather. But they need to improve the game to make it easier on several fronts to get people into the game. And people, there's a fair amount of people who check out the game on a daily basis. Okay, it's just those people are not converted into actual players because of one reason or another. You know, it's hard to get into the game. People don't understand. Whatever the idea, whatever the reason is, there's a fair amount of people checking out the game on a daily basis, but they're just not getting into the game and playing, right? So Alex T says, "Not our job to get them in. The team has to make a fun experience for new people." Yeah, I agree. What I was just talking about. And that kind of was a thought process I was having this week. I've had this a number of times over the years, but I thought that this is completely, this is an experiment. This whole game is really an experiment, and we're on the forefront of really what has not been done in gaming before, right? And the whole idea was, my idea was how interesting this is that most games that are out, you know, in the past, you went from, it was kind of a waterfall development method, right? So the games would be developed and they would get to maybe 75% done, right? And then they would get announced, and then the team would complete the game and release the game, right? this game is a live service sort of game where you're actively invested in the game, paying to play the game, paying to buy assets and everything. Plus, you're actively participating in the R&D of the game. By that, I mean people are putting in their ideas, throwing the ideas around. The teams, taking ideas here and there. And I'm not just talking about DAO proposals, because we have DAO proposals, and we also have, we were talking about earlier, tons of ideas that are thrown at the team on a weekly basis. Like, hey, do this, hey, do that, all this and that. But this is really, especially with bigger development teams, this just doesn't happen. The team just comes out and says, this is what's going to happen to the game, So it's all very interesting, but I completely agree with you. Gathering says, need a new game mode so new players won't get crushed by bots and quit. Ease them in. I agree. We've discussed this before. There needs to be some way where people can get in, have fun playing, and get kind of addicted to the game, get drawn in, and then, like, I think this was a talking point on the People's Guild episode, was that, hey, once you start playing, start having fun, then it's like, oh, hey, at the end of this match, if you had SPS staked, you could have earned this much, SPS or whatever. So that gives them the idea, hey, I'm having fun. Why don't I just go ahead and invest a little bit or put a little bit of money into SPS? Then I can start getting some rewards, right? Something like that. KGM says, Gods Unchained has over 2 million unique users. How many of those are bot accounts and how many are real humans? Well, I think we've proven, if you've played enough of these Web3 type games, crypto type games, you know that if there's a possibility to be abused by bots, there will be. It will be, okay? So all these games, and I'm not saying Gods Unchained, I haven't played it, but I've watched some videos about it. Seems to be like a cool game, right? Seems to be a fun game, kind of relatively like buy, sell, trade cards and play with them, earn their crypto and everything. Seems cool. But I don't believe the numbers. When you talk about, when you start talking about a million, 2 million, I don't believe that. I believe that there's that many accounts, but I also believe that probably a good portion of those are bots, which means one guy could have, 100,000 accounts, and that just is one guy, or one team of people, right? So, when they start throwing around those numbers, it doesn't really mean anything to me. What means something to me is whenever I can look at their crypto coin and see it holding steady, or a slight uptick would be nice, as long as it's not got like this downward slope, which a lot of them have lately. Face it, it's the times we live in, right? I have been tempted to play Gods Unchained a few times. It's just I am at a breaking point of accepting new games. I just don't have enough time, right? People's Guild says, that's the missing piece. And he's talking to Gathering. I was stoked hearing Yaba embrace the free-to-play model. I hope one of the devs delivers the goods. Yeah, I agree. KGM says, I know people who have left Gods Unchained because they like Splinterlands better. Okay. If you've played Gods Unchained, let me know how you like it. Alex T says, 2 million real people definitely don't play Unchained. I would have to agree with that. Rooney207 says, there's no good proposal for vouchers. Someone just needs to make a decision and don't look back. Yeah, I do need to do a video on that. But frankly, I was reading everybody and listening to everybody talk about it. And I'd rather talk, this is me personally. I try not to talk about the financials too much because I'm not great with math. I would rather talk about game improvement ideas that are happening, something like we've been talking about, something that they come up with that will really make the game fun and interesting and get a lot of people in. I would much rather talk about that than talk about more crypto. Do I want to make crypto? Sure, but I just find it kind of like about as boring as talking about stocks, really. I'd rather talk about Dr. Blight and what he brings to the game, right? So Rooney says, Glint killed vouchers as that's the voucher store. People's Guild says, put out the real one, 207. KGM says, Gods Unchained did over $3 million in business last 7 days. Prove bots are good for the economy. That's a whole valid conversation right there, right? You know how we were back when we had the large amounts of bots. And I don't want to get in that today, but we all know what we're talking about. People's Guild says, yeah, but Glint is available to everyone. Vouchers for nodes and staked SPS are for the few. Yeah, I think that if they do go with the People's Guild's idea and kind of make a small store that has, we've talked about this before for the idea for the Glint store, have like things that pop up for a small period of time, cool cards, cool titles. Well, the idea about skins, cool skins that you could possibly change the look and change like one of the stats on your cards. Stuff like that, that's only available to people who have vouchers, which are people who are invested in the infrastructure, right? So, okay, I want to make a slight detour right now because what I do a lot of times is I get down to the bottom of the hour and I forget to talk about some of these things I do need to get in. And my mouse battery just went out. Let's see if I can get a little bit more life out. Hopefully this lasts until the end of the stream. I can change my bot. Okay, so one big news items is in if you play Golem Overlord, tomorrow the Yixn's Trinket airdrop chests go on sale, and this is not going to work. So there's that. He has a big thing going on where he has an airdrop. He has first, second, and I'm just going to have to use my keyboard for the time being. So he has a big, sorry, my mouse going out just completely threw me for a loop. So he has a big thing going on trying to basically, sell some crates. The crates have a bunch of cool items in them. So those start tomorrow, and one of the big things is he will now be accepting shard for crates. So shard is one of the in-game currencies. And the information, once again, I will leave the links to this in the show notes, but you can also find them in the Golem Overlord Discord, because he made an announcement about that too. So I hate to do this, but please give me a minute. Murphy's Law. Everything's easy until you have to do it right on live on cam. That's what she said. Okay. So anyway, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So this starts tomorrow. He's also got a sneak peek of some kind of live chess game he's got going with the golems. So we can go into Golem Overlord and refresh. Oh, and it's on. He's taking it down. So either way, that starts tomorrow. We've been discussing in chat about buying the crates. I wanted to take a look briefly at what the crates have available. I will probably be buying some crates. I'm not going to go whole hog. I'll probably buy between 15 and 25 because I do need some of those pieces of equipment. We looked at when the guild he has a guild bulk buy option that will go live, but it doesn't get you a whole lot. It gets you some extra airdrop points, but very fractional. So also, I wanted to talk about the Summer of Woo. I've been playing Wrestling Organization Online, which has been fun. I'm holding a pretty good record. I'm better than 50-50, but it's because I think I have bought some wrestlers, but I think there's also a couple people that lent me cards to use, so I do appreciate that as well. You know who you are. So the Summer of Woo quests are still going on. Every week they have a different quest where you have to do something to get your name in the drawing, and you get some token airdrop. Recently he just started this bonus referral program, which you can see in the notes, in my show notes to this show. If you want to start playing Woo, the Splinterlands crossover event is still going on, so you can still get a set of beginners cards to start playing the game. And then the thing he added that is when you buy your Booker's license, which is kind of like buying a spell book in Splinterlands, you have to join the Discord community, then open a ticket with your Hive username, and then the currency used to pay for the license. And then if someone referred to you, like if you put my name in there, then I would get 1,000 Woo tokens, which I'm not exactly sure what it's worth right now, but it does help me out in the game. So I am having fun playing in Woo, and I do have one property. And I am working on improving that as well as we go along. So, okay, that was my quick update. I wanted to get that in there, and if anybody has something to say about those items, you can. Let's get back to chat. And like I said, I have been playing non-Web3 related, but I have been back to playing EVE Online with my brother lately. So let's go in there and look at this. So I have been upgrading my one land that I have, and I'm maxed out on some of these things, but some of them I just need more Woo token to be able to advance. Okay, let's go back. Let's see here. KGM Jam says you can check it out yourself on Immutascan. Alex T says, I don't really have a lot of vouchers, so my option is irrelevant. Gathering says, make cards items that are only available with vouchers in the Glint store and get rid of 40K printed per day. Change it to amount of SPS staked. Yeah, that seems like it's a combination of a couple of the different ideas out there. And I had to put a little bit more thought into it, but on the surface, that sounds pretty good to me. The People's Guild says, price items at absurd prices and toss a 12.5% fee to transfer in bingo, bango, bongo, scarcity, and exclusivity. I'd have to think about that again. Rooney207 says, there are no good or solid data or facts when it comes to vouchers. The People's Guild says opinion. Alls I know is there's an appetite for skins, cosmetics, etc. I drop a heap of vouchers on that stuff, though. I agree. There's a lot of the major games out there, and I'm not talking about just Web3 games, prove that people spend tons of money on skins. There are games that don't even bring you any value back other than your play value that can sell you a gun skin, or like I play World of Warships, a ship skin for $50. And your ship looks different, but you don't make anything off of that. It might just be, it's just a skin. It's just looks. Obviously, they have to pay an artist to come up with that and do a lot of work, and that's why they price it where they are. Plus, they have to make a profit, right? But it doesn't bring me anything back like a skin might in Splinterlands if they go with the decision of trying to put in a skin that not only looks different, but you can change up the way your card plays in some way. Obviously, that leads you down a whole road of like I would imagine a QA nightmare. Let's be real. I like the idea, but if I was on the QA team, it would probably be a QA nightmare to say, put in a skin that says, okay, you can put +1 magic attack on this character, but you remove -1 health. And then you'd have to go back in and you'd have to play test that against everything. I imagine it'd be a nightmare. I do like the idea though, and I do agree that there's a big audience for people that would pay for that kind of stuff, and that would be vouchers. Obviously, there's a number of different ways they can do that. Alex T says, my unsolicited opinion on vouchers is just get rid of them. Pull the Band-Aid off. Well, that's an extreme. I think there's a lot of things a lot of variables there. Like I said, I think the main variable in my head, since I don't have a whole lot of vouchers, it wouldn't really affect me much, but I think the people that would affect a lot are the people on the high end who have a lot of SPS staked that are drawing in a lot of vouchers, and two, who I'm not really worried about necessarily because they're the whales. Whales are going to whale. But the people that actually invested in the nodes, and that was what their primary draw off of buying a node has been. So I wouldn't want to see, even though I'm not in that, I don't want to see a team it looks bad on the game. If the team promises something, obviously everything's in fluctuation, right? And we understand that. But if the team says, hey, Joe, if you buy this node, I will give you this many vouchers and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they turn around and certain point down the road, they say, we're done giving you vouchers. Go to hell. You just spent a lot of money, but, they've got to give some kind of value and make a change if they're removing vouchers to keep the value there for node holders. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, it looks really bad on the team. Gathering says, vouchers that are only purchased with DEC or SPS. The SPS gets burned and the DEC goes to the team. No free vouchers minted. Alex T says, the work to do that would be a lot. Back-end stuff, yeah. The People's Guild says yes to all that, but not soulbound. That's a big talking point right there. About the whole idea of bringing more soulbound stuff to the game when this game is Web3, and the whole thing that brought a lot of us into it is the NFTs and the transferability and the buying and selling and stuff like that. You only go down that road of making so much stuff soulbound before you go from being a Web3 game to just a Web2 game. That's all I'm saying, And, I'm not going to sit here and argue the details, but I can just speak for myself. What I got into the game is I liked the fact that the game I could buy, sell, trade my NFTs. I could earn NFTs that I could buy, sell, and trade off of playing, which has been removed, and a few other things, right? But it's slowly going in the other direction, and I can see why they did that. I'm not blind, right? But I can also say that they're slowly going in the other direction, right? And we don't need any more soulbound stuff, right? Some would stand to reason, like you bought a skin, something like that. That would stand to reason to stay soulbound. But some other stuff, Gathering says, if and when vouchers get eliminated, what will be the outcome be? Who knows? Will they convert them to DECB? Will they become soulbound? What do you think the outcome will be? Well, personally, I haven't thought. I've thought about it, but I don't know. There's so many different ideas about that. I just know that they have to offer some type of value for the people that have them, whether it's converted into SPS, DEC, free cards out of a Glint store, whatever that may be. There may be a whole subsection of people that invested in in node licenses that don't necessarily play the game much. And so giving them something out of the Glint store doesn't really mean a whole lot to them, you know? So that's just something else to think about. People's Guild says, at the end of the day, if the TBG proposal passes, meaning the People's Guild proposal passes, we can always push the move to curb vouchers further. This proposal is a start. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think it's an either or decision. I think that that would be an easy one to start out with. And then you could still make moves from there. I agree. Gathering says personal avatars would be a cool feature too to grab new players. Yeah, that'd be nice. And the People's Guild agreed. I believe Matt and team will get it right. Will take time, but no worries there. Stay the course. Keep on forging. Alex T says, yeah, we need them to fix the new player stuff or else we will be cooked for real. The game will never really die, but once the flow of new players come, it will stop dropping. I have to agree with that. I mean, I think that we just take a step back, we being the community, and let the team do what they're going to do, you know, because it's like, I guess, to me, I guess a simile would be like you're trying to get your job done and, you know, there's all these people just standing around throwing tennis balls at you or throwing pieces of paper at you with ideas. You know, you can't get your job done because you always have these people throwing ideas. And it's not that the ideas are bad, right? It's just you're trying to get your job done, you know, which hopefully would improve the game overall, right? And to the goal of what we've been talking about, getting new players on, you know, converting people from Web 2 to Web 3, etc. Rooney207 says it helps that many OGs are leaving the ecosystem. Once enough new players join, it will be 2021 all over again until next major crisis. I don't know about that, but like I said, it's that X factor. It's if they can come up with something that changes, you know, the process they're working on to change the game enough to make it fun to get into, fun to capture people's attention and get that community that we've been talking about, that elusive Web 2 community to come over and make it easier for them. So Gathering the Magic 2-hour stream coming up. Keep the comments coming. Wow, yeah, we are coming to the bottom of the hour. Vilson's in the house. Yo, what's up? Alex T, Atlas Earth. Yeah, in fact, I just had a referral bonus click through. If you use my referral code, basically how that works is you get, when you hit your 11th parcel, you get 200 free Atlas bucks, which is basically 2 parcels worth. And each parcel for your first 10 parcels that you get in land, I get 10 free Atlas bucks, which is basically 1 free parcel. So I've been having fun with it. So I'm at a particular standpoint where I have 150 parcels, plus I've filled out my, like I said earlier, filled out my second level of my passport. So I'm into my 10% boost, and now I'm working on this third section to go into my 15% boost. After that, I will be going above 150 parcels. So either way, that's where I stand, and that's after about 3 months. So, you know, at this point, I've brought in about almost $35. So it's fun. It's something to do. Kind of under the category or umbrella of play to earn type games. Let's see here. Rooney207 says EU has GDPR. Yeah, just means FANG and NVIDIA pays government annual penalty fee. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to get into it. The GDPR is a whole like kind of dry section, but and I had to deal with it a lot at work. But it's I wish we had it something similar in the United States. Now, California in the United States has a lot stricter laws than the rest of the country as far as the handling of your personal data. And you know, if you're interested in this, you can go look it up. It's kind of a dry subject, but I think, well, I know that people in the EU have a lot stricter data handling, and companies have to subscribe to a lot stricter laws as far as what I do with your personal information and stuff. And so, yeah, good point though. Vilson says, at Alex T, been a while. What's up? Alex T says, oh yeah. Bronze Dragon using us citizenship to whale out on the little people of world and Atlas Earth. I wouldn't say whale out. I would say that I made good progress, and I would say that the people who've joined with my code have helped me out a little bit. But I've also put a lot of time, and I've also put a lot of effort into it. Watching commercials. I've been using, they've added recently, if you haven't been watching, they recently brought on, well, about 2 months ago, Australia, about 3 weeks ago, the UK and Northern Ireland, and this last week, Ireland and what's the other country? It slipped my mind, down by Australia, and Mexico, if it isn't live now, should be going live pretty soon. So I wouldn't say that I'm wailing out, but I am enjoying having fun with the game. Let's see here. Vilson says, at Rooney207, you think you will have a 2021 moment after the summer? Alex T says, out here trying to position correctly for the bull run. Alex B is in the house. Welcome, Alex. Good to see you, or good to hear from you. Soul Keep is a better game. I wanted to get in Soul Keep. What do you guys think about going a little bit longer today? I have been playing. That's another one of the games I've been playing this week. We can go over and look at it. I haven't made a whole lot of progress. Right now, I need a couple more of the epic souls to be able to make level 2. So let me know in the comments if you've been playing Soul Keep. I need a couple. Let's go ahead. It's going to tell me I need to unlock the next level. So I need actually one more epic soul to be able to make level 2. That's where I stand. But I have been playing Soul Keep, and it's been pretty fun. It's been pretty interesting. Alex T says, you giving your stamp of approval for Soul Keep. Okay, so there's two different ways to look at this. Okay, so if you're trying to earn off of Soul Keep, I think that the pool of SPS that's allotted for it, you're not going to earn much. Now, if you're looking at Soul Keep to say, hey, is this a fun game to play? Do I want to dive in and get some cards and kind of put some money to see where the game goes? Yeah, it's a fun game. I've been playing the game, and it works different than a lot of tower defense games. In other words, most most tower defense games, you can play and adjust your strategy as you go. Okay, Soul Keep, because I played a lot of these in the past. Soul Keep, you have to make your decision right up front. Okay, I'm going to put this tower down. I'm going to increase the level of this tower and spend that, and then go ahead and click the button and see what happens. There's no adjusting. You can lay down your spells and stuff like that, but it's once you lay them down and click that start button, there's no adjusting your strategy. So it is interesting. I am having fun. I don't think that this would appeal for people that are strictly looking for profit, because there's not going to be a whole lot of profit there. At this point in time, people haven't gotten into the upper levels. And as we can see with the numbers, the amount of SPS that is given away per level from 1 to 10 increasingly goes up. And I think there's people in like level 4 league right now. I'm not sure where to check that out. And then the SPS pool is divided amongst them. And last I saw, it was like 33,000 a day or something like that. And you divide those out, and those people the way it's going to work out is if you can invest enough in the towers and get a good strategy going to stay in those higher level leagues, it'll pay off for you. But everybody else below, you're going to probably end up spending more money on towers than what anything you might even get back out of it. Now, if you're having fun, that's great. And for me, I think at this point I've bought 30 packs, something like that. And I'm having fun. I haven't made anything off of it yet. I'm just trying to increase my league level. I think the key point here is to get your league level up as fast as possible to stand a chance in getting a decent portion of SPS. That's my opinion. So Alex, I can't follow. We've got a couple different Alexes. Can't follow what they're talking about. Vilson says, at Rooney 207, I'm in the same boat for the most part. I've been doing stock market, go TSLA, not paying much, so I guess that's Tesla. So you're saying Soul Keep better, but you don't play. Alex B says, no, I played it. I got a hero. I don't have a hero. I think a hero would definitely help you out, but I don't have one. And since we have such a solid discussion going on, we're going long here. So let's just keep up. Let's go. If you're limited by time, I understand. If you need to drop off, thanks for dropping by. Please like and subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. I appreciate it. Leave a comment in the actual posting of the live whenever it goes live. Thumbs up. It all helps. Rooney 207 chimes in. Gods is extremely difficult to earn a decent amount. Most better ones out there. Now, this leads to something I wanted to talk about, and I think about these random things, like when I'm working out, or like the 10 minutes it takes me to 15 minutes it takes me to fall asleep, or something like this. Is I play a lot of these games, Web3 crypto related games, and I can see why Splinterlands has adjusted the amount that, let's just face it, the early portions of Splinterlands, we made a decent amount of money. I'm not saying money, but we were making SPS, we were making DEC, we were making cards, which you could turn around and sell. Now, the evolution of these type of games, I've gotten into a lot of these games, and to this point is you can't make hardly anything. A lot of these games, you can't hardly make anything. You have to put a bunch of money in up front, and then you're lucky if you just get just cents worth, barely anything out of these games. And I haven't come across a really new game where you could make a decent amount of money. Now, I've played a few bigger budget games lately, and they're cool games and they're fun games. What's the one game that I've been playing lately? I have to get out my iPad here. It was something that KGM turned me on to. Sorry. I have to look up the name of it. Watch... Guild of Guardians. I've been playing that on iPad lately, and that is over on Immutable. It's one of the games on Immutable. So it's a fun game and it's a great game. It's just you can't make very much off of it unless you put like hundreds and hundreds of dollars into the heroes, and then I don't know how much you can actually make. I mean, I've watched videos of this guy who does primary content on that game, and he's investing thousands of dollars in this thing, and I don't know how, he's not making much money whatsoever, and it keeps going down, so good point though. But I'm talking about the overall evolution of these games. We went from making a good deal to making very little when you start one of these new games. So Vilson says that Alex Toro, nice dude. I'm quite broke at the moment, trying to get a house cash for the parents here in Greece. So I started another job. Well, good luck, Wilson. Good luck with that. Alex B says it's summertime, always busy, not much time for games. Once that is done, I might roll some money in if the prices are still right. Let's see here. The People's Guild says, been going heavy into Soulkeep lately. Blinks, Fire Dancer in 2025, ETF, lots to like there. Alex T says, Wilson, that's cool. Got to take care of the folks. Opportunities will always be around. Family won't. Yeah, that's for sure. Mine are gone. Been gone for a while. Tell them what you want to tell them now, because tomorrow is never promised. Alex T says, I got Saul back when it was $15. So the People's Guild points out that that's already 10 times now. I almost believed them when they said the bull run passed. Yeah, I'm not sure about this whole talk about the bull run. We haven't really seen it in Splinterlands. So Wilson says crypto is way way safer, that is. There's a lot of discussion about tokens. Gathering, I saw that the Golem Overlord is in. Hey, it's back up. Nice. So, let's go to one of my news items today was that the Yixn's Trinkets will be for sale in a little bit more than one day. So you can look at those. But look at all the cool items that you could possibly get. I need some equipment, right? I need some equipment for my guy, for my character. But like I said, I'm not going to go whole hog into them. But the nice thing is that he will be accepting shards now for payment. So that is cool. Wilson says, at the People's Guild, I just have one, which I got in the Chaos airdrop back in the day by just buying 8 packs in a pre-sale. Nice, Lucky. Killjoy's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Says, Golem Overlord is the next best thing on Hive ecosystem. Very excited for auto chess game mode getting love now. We really need more games with depth on Hive, not just plain miners. I agree with that. I think that he's doing a lot with Golem Overlord. I think that he's risking spreading out a little bit too far, but he's a one-man crew. He can do with his game what he wants to, but so far he's made a lot of good decisions. I will say that I think the whole the research, I like the idea, but he really needs to modify the amount of blueprints that come in, because the cost of blueprints and what we can get out of crates as far as blueprints go, and as far as what we get on a daily basis, it's like look, currently in our guild we have 2, 3, 4, 5 skills waiting to be activated because we just don't have enough blueprints. I've got everybody donating all the blueprints they get in through crates, and we're just backed up. We've done the research. Everybody's doing what they can do, donating the money and the research points, but we can't activate. We've got 5 in the queue because we don't have enough blueprints. Now, with that said, I was able to activate either this morning or last night guild size 5 we maxed out, and now we're into claim multiplier, which a lot of people need for a quest, which is a good thing. But like I said, I think he really needs to look at the amount of blueprints that are going out and increase that in some way. I know that he had mentioned in his article, I'm trying to see. He mentioned in this article about doing something as far as there's being something available as a prize that would increase the blueprints you get in some way, but I don't know any details about that. Trying to scan through. My Financial Journey's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. What's going on? Just got here. Wanted to say, hey, yeah, we're going long today. We got a lot of discussion going on. I appreciate everybody dropping by, wherever you happen to be in this fine world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I think we'll go another 15 minutes. I think we got enough discussion here. A little bit of discussion about Bruce Wayne. People's Guild says, I want to hire the famous Magic the Gathering players on Cameo to make ads for Splinterlands. You know, that's an interesting point about Matt was talking about on your show. The point was, and I've talked about this before, when we get to the point where the game's been improved and they want to advertise, they have to find somebody that is cutting edge, somebody that is Web3 familiar and is willing to do some new things. I don't think, I guess my main point here is standard advertising is not going to work. We have to come up with something new, something innovative, something on the edge, something that makes sense, and maybe a blend of new and old. And I'm not going to pretend to be an advertising person, but I can agree with him on that. That it's not just going to be a standard advertising event. That's not going to work, right? So. Gathering says, get Rudy from Alpha Investments. I was just watching a video from him earlier. That guy's wild, man. He's if you're not familiar with him, he does videos and he just buys Magic and other games too, but primarily Magic. And he's just got, I don't know how he makes his money, but he's got like a club that goes on where you can be a member of the club and get specific boxes for decent prices and whatever. But he just has millions of dollars worth of Magic cards, and he's all the time just in these rooms with boxes stacked up to the ceiling with cases of these cards, right? And to me, it's kind of sad because I used to love Magic. I was around, not at the beginning, but a couple years after the beginning, right around Revised, the end of Unlimited. And I loved the game. And I played for a couple years up until about Ice Age, is about the time I got out. I had a lot of good cards and I enjoyed it, but the game increasingly got more complicated, which drove me away, which I fear that Splinterlands is also risking. But also when Hasbro bought them, Hasbro's doing the same thing with Magic the Gathering that they're doing with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. They're just wringing every last cent out of them and driving people away. It's like what I know these are controversial subjects, but it's like what Disney is doing with Marvel. It's driven me away. Anyway, I went down a side road on that. The People's Guild says, I suggested to Aftersound to rip off a Post Malone track for an SPL parody. No such thing as bad press. And if we could land Posty, we'd be golden. Well, I mean, he's into that kind of stuff. So who knows? And he seems, there are very few people that seem like really nice guys. He's one of those guys that seems like a really nice guy. So there are very few major actors and singers and stuff like that seems like, you could sit down and have a beer with them and they'd be really nice. He seems like one of those. Don't know him personally though. But Gathering says, tell that to Biden. I don't want to get into political here. Vilson says, at Rooney207, what do you think of Colony? Rooney207 says, ETH has the skin merged into these cards' assets. Sadly, Hive doesn't offer this kind of tech. Interesting point. I had never thought about that. That's a good question, though. I might have to look into it further. Alex T says, though the way they do it on here was interesting, like sell something from our game in their token type thing, but since it's a different blockchain, it would be difficult. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing I've been seeing lately, where games that are coming out are multi-chain, which I think would be good. I don't know how hard that is. I would assume if you're heavily into your primary chain is Hive, I don't know how easy it would be to go multi-chain. I'm assuming it would be a huge project, but I don't know. I think that if you could branch out and accept more, be multi-chain, it would help out the game. But I think what would help out the game more is making it more fun and easier to get into for people. So the People's Guild says, Bronze Dragon gonna need a 2-hour stream to get to all these comments. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut it off in 10 minutes. I do like talking, but I'm kind of losing my voice here. And with that said, I will bring up that the People's Guild has contacted me, and we might be doing a People's Guild episode in the near future. So that remains to be seen when and where, but look for those notes when we do finalize that. Rooney207 says, at Vilson, I think Aggie is slowing down. Colony needs Aggie's energy. I haven't been keeping up lately. I do see the pings in Discord, and I do see that they're still up to stuff. I do need to jump over there and check out the racing game again. I did not get in on the airdrop. I did not buy packs, but I would like to check out the situation where the game is at currently, but I'm not up on that. So if you know the situation, let me know in a couple sentences what you think of the game currently. I am claiming my airdrops, and I am continuing to roll those over on a daily basis. So Alex T says, you really think Post Malone fans will play Splinterlands? I have no idea. I've seen crazier things. I know that somebody can, a famous person like that can just advertise and talk about one thing, and then all of a sudden that thing is sold out in minutes flat. I know that, you know. So whether he wants to do that, I think he's into Magic, and I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. I think he's that kind of guy. So I think that whether he would play it and whether he would want to advertise it is two different things. And if he does that kind of thing, who knows? They would just have to talk to him about it, you know, or talk to his people about it. The People's Guild says, at Rooney207, Matt finally sounded open to jumping from Hive if we don't get a past proposition for support from DHF. What is DHF? I'd have to look that up. Vilson says, I agree on that. Been trying to farm it on pools and hoping he will come out swinging. Paul Taylor says, you have to give value to the people that are going to keep the SPS chaining going from the validators. Completely agree. Completely agree. They need a lot more benefits than what they even have now with the vouchers. I agree. You know, that's looking at the whole big picture of coming off of Hive and using the validators, right? Those people that are going to run that are a big part of the infrastructure, right? So they have to have value. And that starts with not stepping on their toes and, you know, taking this big part of value out from underneath them currently. Obviously, you know, I don't even pretend to wrap my head around, you know, being able to talk about the math about that. But I do know you have to offer value to those people that want to help you not only invest in your game and your company, but help keep your infrastructure up and running, right? So, I mean, it's just logic to me, right? I agree with Paul. Rooney207 says that the People's Guild, Yabba Matt, needs to get off the Hive train like yesterday. There's a strong argument there. There are a lot of tokens doing a lot better than Hive. I've had a lot of good play with Hive on all the different games. I like going to Hive Engine, buy, sell, swapping for different games. I like that. But at the same time, there's a lot of tokens that are doing better than Hive, right? So The People's Guild says Post Malone dropped something like 1 million on the Magic. Yeah, I remember seeing that on the One Ring card. I would like to hear him talk about that. You know, it's been a few more than a few months at this point, but it was last year at some point. See what he thinks about it at this point. But he definitely is a Magic player. People's Guild says, I've completely checked out from that side of the house, meaning the arcade colony side of the house. I still think that the whole platform, the arcade colony platform, is well developed, and I think it's ripe for buying. It's just that I think that back to our previous point, if they could branch out to a different blockchain and have multi-blockchain going, it would make the company much more attractive. Do I want them to get bought out? No, but I'm saying I know how business goes now. Bigger companies, all it would take is a bigger company. Hey, I want to build my game on a blockchain or multiple blockchains, and it's cheaper to just go ahead and buy another company that's already done it as a platform than to actually do it themselves. So Rooney too. I'm sorry, I'm skipping around, but there's so much. Every time I try to scroll down, I'm missing a bunch of chat. So if I miss what you said, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with the conversation. Banana says, I used to make several $100s a day in 2021 in Splinterlands. I naively thought renting assets out was going to be a way to make a living, but they left the gates too open. Yeah, I did that for a while. I was making decent DEC when I was renting out my cards. At certain points, I made more, just stopped playing the game and renting out all my stuff. That didn't last too long, but I did that too. Rooney207 says, Guild of Guardians is terrible for earnings. I own a guild there. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun game. But like I said, I got into it enough, and I watched this other guy. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, but he does his whole coverage on his channel is that game, and he's spending thousands of dollars on this, and I'm like, you just can't make very much at all. And it's a constant progression to buy the next, buy the next, buy the next, you know. Next best thing, just to keep up and keep your income coming in. Rooney207 also finishes that statement out saying, I can count on my hands how many games make solid money right now. Yeah, at this point, I'm not really trying to make money off. What I would consider a successful game to me is if I can play the game and I can have a steady income coming in to where I can turn that over and buy a new card, buy a new pack or something like that once in a while to continue playing the game. Another thing I will say while we're on that comment is summer starts in dCrops in 1.25 hours. So that's why all my plots are bare. I'm getting ready to go into summer, and I will be planning out in about an hour and a half. So that kind of brought that to mind. Alex B says, I make SPS every day if I play. My brother pinged me yesterday, said he finally got to a match. He had switched over from using his bot in Wild to playing Modern this season, and he finally got to the point where he can make 6 SPS in with a win. I think he made it into gold. I'm not sure, but he's sitting at about a 50% win rating when I ask him. So that's pretty good because that's pretty much what my bot does in Wild. But I don't make 6 SPS a win. My last win was a little bit over 2. But with the recent changes, my glint has gone up to about 500 glint a win. So it's not bad. I'll be able to buy some more cards at the end of the season. I am tossing around my head whether to turn it off and go into Modern next season. You know, a little bit of interesting content. See how bad a player Bronze Dragon is. Okay, so we're coming down to the top of the hour. Paul Taylor says the blueprints are the gatekeepers so people don't shoot up levels. I understand, but I think it's a really tight choke point. I do think he needs to re-examine that. I do understand why it's put there. It's just I think it's too tight of a choke point. Blue Boy says, your comment on node licenses owned by non-players is very relevant to me. I invested a lot and started playing. Life became very buzzy and playing had to be put aside for a while. My 3 node licenses were the only positive side and land. I will be sad if there's no more hope for upside in the future. Yeah, we have to look at those things. So first of all, thanks everybody. This was huge. Last week was kind of, I considered last week's live stream very mediocre, and when I got done with it, I was just not feeling good about it. So with this week, you've brought refreshed energy. So thank you. In the show notes or the show comments, please go back, like this live stream, and leave your opinions on where you think what you would like to hear more coverage from me on this live stream, as well as in my channel in general. I would appreciate it. I do appreciate everybody stopping by and spending their time with me. I know time is precious. That's the one thing you can never get back in life once you spend it. But I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And I am turning 54 tomorrow. So we might smoke something on the smoker and have a cold beer. So I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And I will see you in whatever game you choose to play, whether it's Splinterlands. You may see me in Wrestling Organization Online. I always get that acronym wrong. You'll probably see me in Golem Overlord. You'll probably see me in dCrops, bunch of different other games. You may see me in EVE Online. If you're playing, don't attack me because I will unload some missiles on your ass. Did I say that? Anyway, hope everyone has a good day, and I will see you on the flip side.